What is up, Pokemon Go family? It is your boy, TheGoulGuy, back at you guys yet again with another video, and today we are going to be showcasing one of my favorite Pokemon that has just released in Pokemon Go, freaking Tinkaton. Oh my goodness. We are featuring Tinkaton in the freaking Spring Cup. Yes, Tinkaton. I know I probably repeated this in a couple of my videos already. Pretty much one of my favorite Pokemon in the newer video games, the new main series video games anyway. Scarlet and Violet, if I'm not mistaken. Scarlet and Violet, pretty much my most used Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet, other than Mimikyu, obviously my favorite Pokemon in general, but yes, Tinkaton, such an amazing Pokemon. The typing is just amazing, Fairy and Steel, and it's a pretty bulky Pokemon at that, which is amazing. I'm just so glad it's in Pokemon Go now, and we are going to be able to feature it in some PvP battles. But without further ado, let's showcase the team here, because I have a team consistent of Jellicent and as well Amoonguss. Yes, this is going to be the first time actually using Amoonguss as well on my channel. Amoonguss, really strong Pokemon in the Spring Cup. It's a really good grass type, really good poison type, and it's able to hit neutral with the foul plays, which is very nice. And it's also pretty bulky. Mixed in with the Jellicent, that's also really bulky. I have three really bulky Pokemon on this team that has been working phenomenally for me. I'm pretty sure I'm probably going to be using these Pokemon for the entirety of the rest of the Spring Cup here, because it's just so fun to use. Without further ado, let's showcase the actual, well, let's show you the IVs and everything like that before we get started. But anyway, let's get into it. First Pokemon we are going to be showing here is our Jellicent. This is the 98% Jellicent. Still haven't built the other Jellicent that actually has better PvP IVs, not just yet anyway. And just so you guys know that I'm not lying about that, I actually do have a PvP IV Frillish here, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so I got one right here, and that's actually the only one. That's actually the only one. I think everything else is just pretty high IVs. I have no clue why I have so many Frillishes here. I definitely need to get rid of some of them, but have some really high IV Frillishes, which is insane. But anyway, this is our Jellicent here. We got Hex, Surf, and as well as Shadow Ball. As you can see from other previous videos, Jellicent does amazing in this league, and I needed something to actually take out any of the fire type, the fire users, like, you know, the Shadow Mawile, of course, that's out there. A lot of people have that Shadow Mawile with the Fire Fang. It would destroy, if not delete, freaking Tinkaton if we did not have a water type coverage, and that is nice for that. And then as well, we have a Amoonguss. Amoonguss, as I said, very strong pick in this meta. Really good against, you know, of course, the water types, and as well, really good against Ferrothorn. Ferrothorn pretty much is one of those Pokemon I really have to look out for, especially for Jellicent, because I mean, it's pretty much its main nemesis in this league. Amoonguss is able to tank majority of the hits except for Flash Cannon, but Amoonguss is able to take Flash Cannon no problem, at least one of them, and it's able to take it out pretty easily. So that is why we are using Amoonguss there. Pretty much an amazing Pokemon to cover both the both Pokemon in general. I mean, of course, Mawile, still with Fire Fang, is still going to do heavy damage on Amoonguss, but it's still going to be able to fight back pretty nice. So Amoonguss, really good pick here with Astonish, Foul Play, and Sludge Bomb. These are the IVs as well. Pretty decent PvP IVs on the Amoonguss. And then last but not least, we have our Tinkaton, the only one I've built so far. We have been hatching a whole lot of eggs. As you can see, I have a whole load of Tinkatinks, which is insane. I'm going to be trading these eventually just to see if I can get some really good PvP IVs, but this is the one that we are going to be using here with Fairy Wind, Heavy Slam, and as well as Play Rough. Now, this Pokemon does have Bulldoze. I have been hearing from a lot of other people that Bulldoze is not good, not great at all, and we're just going to skip over that step. I'm not going to go use Bulldoze, especially if it's not a good a good attack anyway. Pretty much we're just going to be using Heavy Slam. Heavy Slam at least does 70 damage. Really good against the Weezings out there. And it's also one of the fastest moves we can essentially get to. So, you know, coverage for the Weezing, which is very nice, especially to avoid any overheats, you know. But anyway, without further ado, oh, and also these are the IVs, by the way. It's pretty much a high IVs with this one. As I said, already going to be trading a bunch of Tinkatinks. We're eventually going to get those PvP IVs, but until then, this is the one we're going to be using. But anyways, without further ado, let's get into the battles. Let's go. How this team works: we got the Jellicent in the front, we got the Amoonguss as a switch, and then as well, we also have the Tinkaton, just in case. We also, you know, for a switch. But anyway, they're both really good to switch into, because say for instance I'm going against something, you know, that essentially Tinkaton will work well against, you know, essentially that's why that's there. But anyway, I'm rambling on. We already start with a very bad lead here. We got Jellicent versus freaking Cacturne. We're just going to go ahead and go into our Amoonguss here. And then they end up switching into our Weezing. And that is why we have Sludge Bomb here. Sludge Bomb does an amazing amount of damage onto Shadow Weezing. Well, Galarian Weezing anyway. Is this a Shadow? No, this isn't a Shadow actually. But it still does an amazing amount of damage, which is very nice. But they end up shielding, which is fine. Let's see if this is going to be an overheat or not. Is this going to be an overheat? It is not. It's going to be a sludge, and I am going to be able to take that, no problem. See if I can get to another Sludge Bomb. But I cannot get to the Sludge Bomb, but that is fine. Guess what? I'm just going to shield this. I'm just going to shield this move, and it is a sludge. Another sludge anyway. We're going to use another Sludge Bomb. See if they dedicate 2 shields to this Weezing, this Galarian Weezing here. If they do, we do get shield advantage, which is very nice. Ooh, but we do get switch advantage, which is even better here. Looks like Cacturne comes back in, and guess what? This is our time. Tinkaton is going to do the best here. Now, essentially, we are going to have to shield this because this could be a Dynamic Punch. I'm not sure how much Dynamic Punch would actually do to our Tinkaton here, so that's why I ended up just basically shielding that. They end up switching into a Gastrodon, and we have our answer to Gastrodon with the Jellicent here. Now, Jellicent still can get hit with the Earth Power. Earth Power still does a decent amount of damage to the Jellicent, but I'm still going to be able to hold on, no problem here. I'm just going to build up some energy here. They really can't throw the Body Slam because, of course, it's going to be non-effective, and it's not going to take us out instantly anyway. So, essentially, let's just build up enough energy here. Yeah, it looks like they're going to be probably going to be throwing the Body Slam, if I'm not mistaken. If they are throwing the Body Slam, which they are, I'm going to see if I can at least get to the Surf before they take us out. But they end up taking us out, unfortunately. But we are going to be able to get to a Play Rough onto this Gastrodon. This is not looking good, folks. This is not looking good whatsoever. We do have the Play Rough. Play Rough doing majority of the health. Can I farm it down? I can farm it down with the Fairy Wind. Let's go. And they bring back in the Cacturne. I don't believe they have any more shields left. We do have the Heavy Slam. Heavy Slam, is it going to KO the Cacturne? I'm pretty sure it will, because I mean Cacturne literally has zero, like, it doesn't have any kind of health, like it's very fragile. But we end up winning that game with the freaking Tinkaton, bro. This Pokemon is freaking amazing, okay? I was not expecting it to be that great based off the move pool, but essentially it does what it needs to do, okay? That Play Rough did a tremendous amount of damage onto that Gastrodon before they ended up farming us down with the Mud Shots, Mud Slap, Mud Shot. I always get those confused, and we were able to freaking capitalize on that, farming it the rest of the way down and freaking taking out that Cacturne. Let's go, let's go. But anyway, going into the next match, we got Jellicent versus the Ninetales. Now with this matchup, I am afraid of a Play Rough. I'm not too sure exactly how much the Play Rough would actually do to my Jellicent here. So basically, we're just going to throw a Surf, see if we get a shield. We don't. So smart on my opponent there. Looks like they are counting my moves here. They end up switching into a Ferrothorn. That's fine. We do have the Shadow Ball ready for it. Let's go. Gonna be throwing that Shadow Ball. Let's see if they end up taking it. They do, which is very nice. And this is where Amoonguss comes in to shine. Let's go. As I said, the only thing that I have to worry about with this Ferrothorn is a is a flash cannon. But this one has a freaking mirror shot, bro. Mirror shot is such a weak move, it's insane. So since I knew it had mirror shot, basically what I ended up doing is just farming. I'm just gonna farm this Ferrothorn all the way through. Power Whip is double like non-effective. So essentially I'm just gonna farm the rest of the way down, come out with a ton of energy, which is very nice. Let's see what they bring back in. They bring in Lantern. Oh my goodness. Lantern basically gonna do not that much damage to me whatsoever between Thunder and as well as Surf. I don't think it's going to do any kind of damage to me. So Amoonguss pretty much still sitting pretty here. It already just took out a Pokemon, bro. Look at this. Sludge Bomb destroying this Lantern here. They end up switching back into the Ninetales. We switch into our Jellicent. Basically just going to catch the move. No point of even shielding here. Might as well just let it go. Weather Ball, oh my goodness, Weather Ball going through, and yeah, it still doesn't even take us out. Like we could have just, yeah, like anyway, they end up taking us out finally, farming us the rest of the way down. We end up switching into our Tinkaton. Pretty much most of the moves from this Ninetales is not going to do anything to this Tinkaton whatsoever. Look at that, non-effective. Even if it has a fairy move, the charms aren't doing anything. We just farm it the rest of the way down, and they only have their they only have the Lantern in the back, and we pretty much are just gonna throw this move here. It is going to be the Heavy Slam. Heavy Slam, not gonna do that much damage. I don't know why I didn't think about Steel being non-effective against a electric water type. I should have known. I think it's the water typing that's non-effective against Steel. I'm not too sure. That's the only typing I feel like I've not really like figured out. But anyway, Tinkaton ends up winning that game, farming it down with the Fairy Wind. Let's go, bro. Tinkaton, bro, taking on 2 matches already, like in a row. That stuff is insane, okay? But also too, by the way, fun fact, this is the first time running this team with Tinkaton. This is the first time running Tinkaton, and probably like the only time where I've ever just ran a brand new team, and it's working phenomenally for me. I don't know what it is. As I said, I have a deep connection with this Pokemon, alright? I don't know what it is. But anyway, really good start with the Tentacruel. They end up switching into the Masquerada. Now, personally, I probably should have just went into my Tinkaton, because this is like a perfect match for the Tinkaton. I would have pretty much walled the Night Slash, would have walled any grass type move it would have had. But it is what it is. We ended up switching into our Amoonguss, so we're gonna basically make the most of it here. We're just gonna take the Night Slash, no problem, throw the Sludge Bomb, get a shield, and let's see if we can at least get one more move off before they end up taking us out completely here. I'm pretty sure they're probably gonna try to hit me with another Night Slash, and they do, which gives them a boost, which this is very scary here. Let's see, can I get to a foul? Oh, I couldn't even get to a foul play. Oh my goodness, I thought I could at least throw something, but it is what it is. We're just going to switch into our Tinkaton. I know the Tinkaton can literally tank anything right now, so that is fine. They have Flower Trick. Okay, Flower Trick boosting their attack up again. So they're pretty much getting double boosted here. That is one thing I do have to kind of be cautious about. But at the same time, even with the double attack boost, oh, triple attack boost. Oh my god, that Flower Trick actually did a good amount of damage to me, which is insane. But anyway, we end up farming down the rest of the Masquerada. We come out with a good amount of energy here. We're gonna throw a Play Rough. I know it's gonna be resistant against the Tentacruel here, but that's fine. I just wanted to get at least a little bit of health off of that Tentacruel. They end up switching into a Credilli. Now, this is going to be a very tough match here. Credilli, of course, going to be able to do super effective damage to my Jellicent here, so I do have to be very cautious. I do get to the Surf before they get to a charge move, which I believe they probably are just farming up right now. I think that's what they're doing. I think they're just farming up to double charge moves right now. So basically what we're going to do, we're just going to shield the first one here. This could be a Rock Tomb, and it is a Rock Tomb. Oh my goodness. I could have took the Rock Tomb, but that's fine. Basically, I just wanted to avoid the Surf. We have one more shield left, and we're just going to use it. And is it going to be... Oh my goodness, they rock to me again. Oh my goodness. But at least we still have a healthy Jellicent here for this Tentacruel in the back. That is main thing that we wanted to do. We want to make sure at least we have the Jellicent for the Tentacruel. That is fine. And yeah, basically that was a double debuffed Shadow Ball, basically doing not that much damage whatsoever. But we end up switching into the Tinkaton. Tinkaton gonna take the Scald and get KO'd there, which is very unfortunate. But we still have our Jellicent. Basically, Jellicent is gonna be able to take these poison jabs, no problem. We're gonna build up energy onto our Jellicent. We got 2 surfs, basically building up to 2 surfs here, almost to another surf. Does this KO? It does KO the Jellicent. Can we KO the freaking Credilli? That is the question of the day here. I don't believe they have any more shields. Can this KO, man? If this doesn't KO, we lose, and we end up KOing the freaking Credilli. Let's go. Jellicent, man, showing how powerful, how strong, and how bulky this Pokemon is in the freaking Spring Cup, bro. Love Jellicent so much. As you can see also too, all these teams that I've been running through, like, oh my goodness, all the teams, and this is like my favorite team out of all of the teams that I've been running, bro. Such a fun team to use. But anyway, going into, I believe, the 4th match here. Let's go. Jellicent versus the Mawile. This is where I want to see the Jellicent. This is where I want to see the Jellicent against the Fire Fang user. But this is a Astonish user, a Shadow Mawile. Well, is this even Shadow? Yeah, this is a Shadow. A Shadow Mawile Astonish user. This is very bad for me. But it is what it is. Basically, they're going to throw a Power Up Punch. We're just not going to shield that. We already knew what exactly it was going to be. We're essentially just going to throw a Surf here. Trying to get a shield. Let's see if they end up shielding this. They do. That is great for us. Basically, we're just going to switch into the Amoonguss. Since they're not running Fire Fang, Amoonguss has a little better chance here against this Mawile. But it could also have Iron Head. Does it have Iron Head? And no. Okay, alright, Power Punch. It could still have Iron Head though, so I do have to still be cautious of that. They switch into a Wigglytuff, which is very strange. I don't know if they thought I had Grass Knot or something like that, but I do have the Sludge here, the Sludge Bomb. Do they take it? And they do. Sludge Bomb doing a tremendous amount of damage to this Wigglytuff, and they end up just conceding the match because I guess they just did not think that I would have Sludge Bomb on this Amoonguss, which I do. Okay, that was crazy. But definitely want to have Sludge Bomb on the Amoonguss just in case, you know, you come across a Weezing, which essentially that overheat is just like basically insta KO, and that is why I keep the Sludge on the Amoonguss for sure. Alright, I think this is the last match. We have Jellicent versus the Tentacruel. Really good match, of course, for the Jellicent. They end up switching into the Ferrothorn at rinse and repeat. We're just going to try to get to the Shadow Ball before they end up getting to their charge move, since we already had energy built up from the first match. The first Pokemon anyway, the Tentacruel anyway. Throwing the Shadow Ball, boom, doing half the damage, half the health on the Ferrothorn, which is super nice. We switch into the Amoonguss. We're just going to take a, let's see if they have it, Splash Cannon. Yes, they do. We're just going to take the Flash Cannon, no problem. And we're going to throw the Foul Play. Foul Play should be KOing here, and if I'm not mistaken, do they shield? Do they shield? They don't shield. I'm pretty sure they probably want to build up some energy on their Tentacruel, and that's exactly what they end up doing here. But they're not going to take us out before we get to another Foul Play. This is the beauty of freaking Amoonguss, bro. Like, I was like, what? 4 Astonishes, you get to the Foul Play really fast, which is nice. We do get a shield advantage already. Let's go. And basically what we're going to do, of course, we're going to switch right back into our Jellicent. And then they come out with a Amoonguss of their own. Of course, Amoonguss, such a strong Pokemon in this meta. Foul Play is not going to do that much damage to me whatsoever. I am Steel, and as well, I am a Fairy type. Well, the Steel isn't really going to resist. The Fairy type is going to resist, but as you can see, does not do that much damage whatsoever. Basically, we're just going to throw the Heavy Slam. Heavy Slam's going to do a decent amount of damage to the Amoonguss. This is not a Shadow Amoonguss, so not as much damage as I would like, but that is fine. Amoonguss does not really have any charge move pressure whatsoever, especially if it doesn't have Sludge. So I'm pretty good in this position here. Heavy Slam coming through again. They pretty much get rid of both of their shields. They have no more shields left, and we still have our shields, baby. Let's go. We still have our shields. Foul Play coming through. I don't know why I even, like, I put the shield up just in case it had Sludge. I was trying to think maybe it still had Sludge. I wasn't too sure. We're just going to shield we're just going to shield this up because basically I want to keep the energy for the I want to keep the energy for the Tinkaton for the Amoonguss, because Amoonguss still could do some damage to my Jellicent here. But basically, yeah, we're just going to switch into our Jellicent. Our Jellicent definitely going to be able to take out this Tentacruel here, no problem. Building up to basically almost double back-to-back Shadow Balls. Shadow Ball 1 coming through. Does it get us the KO? It does. Let's go. And then last but not least, we have the freaking Amoonguss in the back. And as I said, I don't think they have any more shields left. This should be getting us the insta KO. Let's go. Boom. KOing the Amoonguss. And we end up winning that game. I believe that was the last game, if I'm not mistaken. Let's check. Is it? It is. It was the last game, and that was a 5-0 set, bro. With the first time using this Pokemon in the Spring Cup, bro. This Pokemon is amazing. Now, of course, there's going to be some issues here and there if you come into a Gastrodon. As you can see, we did come into a Gastrodon, and we did find a way to get around it. But, you know, Gastrodons, of course, Mawile with the Fire Fang, you just have to find a way around it. But other than that, it's a pretty amazing Pokemon. I cannot wait to actually use this in the Great League, and I can't wait for this to actually get a community day where essentially it might actually get even an even better moveset, which is going to be insane. But anyway, that is the game. That is the that is the end of the set there. Let me know what you guys think of this new Pokemon in this meta, in the Spring Cup, or even coming into the Great League. Let me know what you guys think of this Pokemon in general. What you guys think of the team anyway. Basically, next week I believe it's just going to be we're going back to the Great, Ultra, and a Master League, which is going to be pretty nice. I'm pretty sure everybody's going to be relieved to actually go back to the open Great League to be able to use whatever Pokemon they want to use. So that's going to be sick. But anyways, if you guys enjoyed the video, definitely leave me a like and subscribe to the channel, as it helps the channel grow. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one, alright? Peace out.